12. If the shoe fits. The cowled figure, robed too in red, the dark wine red of a cloak far traveled and still soaked at the edges in mist, withdrew the hand just as Triton's played over the top of it. "Greetings, fair elf maiden." Triton clears his throat. "A little birdie tells me you're the one I seek." He winks meaningfully. No response. The fire crackles. Triton carefully unrolls his map scrap with one hand and lets it drift to the table. On one side is the word Dragon Tavern. On the other, the lines and terrain symbols of a map. The figure makes no move. Triton peers deep into the hood of the mysterious figure as he takes her arm again. The slender lady hides her figure in a cloak the size of a cloakroom. Mayhap the long road has taken a toll? You are verily skin and bones to the touch, if you'll forgive me being so bold. He raises his voice. Cook, meals, 2. Bare feet flap the slate. Chagall, the half-orc barbarian, strives over and slams his map piece on the table. What is the meaning of this? He demands. The cowled lady draws the outline of a bulging square with a long, bent finger gloved in black. Her fingertip scrapes into the wood with surprising force, denting the table. Into this shape, the 2 map fragments snap with a slip, a sigh, and a clap. Ilaria joins them at the table, placing her map fragment in the place it should go. It jumps out of her hand and finds the place before she can complete the motion. There is 1 fragment, 1 corner, still missing. 2 tables away, Bale, in chainmail, notices the transaction. He fingers the rough edges of the missing fragment. Wait for me here, he says to his table. The 2 dwarves nod, and one keeps nodding, the one who has already had 6 pints of mead. The ranger gets up with an effort and leans back against the post, holding up the ceiling. Though he has trouble pushing his chair in, he pulls back his bowstring with uncanny ease. The bow gives off that eclectic hum that those sensitive to the arcane arts like to call magic with unfortunate consequences. The apprentice peers up from the book he's studying and opens his mouth as if to say something to the ranger, then to Bale, then closes it. His finger returns to the page. He's almost got every word memorized. If only I could remember what the spell's called, he mutters to himself. Something missile. Bale shakes his head in frustration. Thanks. Hopefully this mission will see a thinning of the ranks. Be ready for trouble, you troublesome fools. On his way to the table, an effete, well-dressed nobleman slides in front of Bale. He is pasted head to toe in finely spun fabrics in the latest patterns and with expensive fastening. The 3 sets of jeweled buttons arranged diagonally across his chest are worth almost as much as Bale's chain armor. The man's color palette is a chessboard dipped, as it were, in blood. Red boots and tights lead up to a loose, checkered chemise that is held together with a black velvet vest and a white cravat. His shirt is embellished with 2 protuberances on his shoulders that give the man's neck a cozy home and would provide easy neck support for sleep were a pillow lacking. He is the epitome of impracticable leisure and the rage of the moment, an affront to Bale's practical nature. "A million pardons, my good sir," says the nobleman as he trips over his own feet. "Clumsy canard!" Bale elbows him aside and reaches the table by the fireplace. He plops down the paper he's been holding in his hand. To his surprise, it is an invitation to a debutante's ball, addressed to one Edmund. The cowled face looks up at Bale. He can't see into the darkness, but he feels the darkness seeing him. He covers his bee medallion with a hand and backs away from the table. I'm glad he didn't join the group, says Ilaria. But you're glad I did? Triton looks across at her and smiles. I don't mind being interrupted when I'm having a confidential conversation with an elegant lady. He pats the arm of the red-robed figure. There's much less arm than you'd think, considering the volume of this robe, but who needs privacy when you can eat with a healer and, He nods to Chagall. A barbarian? Is that the polite term? Another meal, he calls to the barmaid. Make it 3, on me. Triton winks to Ilaria. Oh, you'd buy me a meal? Ilaria shrugs. I can create enough of my own food and water. Thank you. She touches the symbol under her cloak that hangs about her neck. It's carved in the shape of a moon crescent, with a cup of tea resting inside the hummock. On the table before them, steamed vegetables, bread, roasted nuts, fried tomatoes, and berries blink into existence. But I'll buy you a drink. All of you. On me. Meat, says Chagall, taking a handful of berries and crushing them in his hand. He smears them under his armpit. Berries for fragrance. Meat. Ilaria fishes coins out of her purse, spilling a few on the ground in an attempt at a graceful payment. The barmaid pulls them together with a sweep of her foot and scoops them up deftly from among the boots and bare feet under the table. No shoes, she clucks and shakes her head. You, I understand, half-orc of the wilds, but you? She shakes her head at Triton. Full leathers and no shoes. Meat and drinks coming. Excuse me, milady? Calls the nobleman as he approaches the table, but the barmaid has ridden away on the nonchalance of her swinging hips. In the small of her back is the monogrammed silver dagger E.F. Drinks and meat on I, he brags. I, Edmund. He drops a coin pouch with a clink. It's the same pouch that the barmaid just scooped their coins into.
What does the F stand for?
Asks Ilaria. She has observed it all. The thieving dance between this nobleman and the barmaid.
Do you know me? I don't believe I have the pleasure yet of knowing you. You are E.F., are you not? Replies Ilaria. Edmund the noble reaches for his dagger, looks about the room, spies the barmaid using it to cut off a hunk of cheese at the cooking station. He looks back at Ilaria with a sly grin. E.F. Edmund Fullery, at your service. He extends a hand in greeting.
His stray hand wanders across the table and attempts to pull away the map. Ouch! A hot and itchy little zap sends his hand back to its place. He looks toward the fireplace. As the zap came from that direction, flames look back. Edmund has the unshakable suspicion that he's being mocked.
He withdraws his piece of map from a vest pocket and lays it
purposefully on the table. He peeks down at it, curious to see what's on the paper
that he had just grabbed from Bale. Did a bird give you your fragment as well?
Asks Ilaria. A bird? A bird. Edmund examines Ilaria's face and glances at Chagall and Triton. They're all looking at him closely. Of course a bird did. The final fragment slides, as if pulled by a magnetic force, into place on the table. The map is complete. An owl hoot sounds out. Woo, woo. It begins low. Woo, and ends in a kind of whistle, like a kettle warming up. The barbarian's muscles cord to turn his head and find the source of the sound. Gnarls by the door. The wizard
You humans need to take better care of yourselves.
thinks the barbarian.